सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो नारायणाय 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 ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः Let us chant from verse number 10. प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमाविश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्न्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम्. Humble prostrations to one and all present here. So in the last class we have seen the tips for meditation. So in the 8th chapter, Bhagavan answers the questions of Arjuna. Bhagavan says that I alone have become Adhyatnya, Adhibhuta, Adhidhaiva, Adhyatma. Everything in this world, whatever you see, it is me alone. I alone am the imperishable reality Brahman. I alone have become the world of 5 elements. I alone have become the Jivatma. I alone am the self in all beings. So therefore, in essence, everything is me alone. So therefore, at the time of death, a person who meditates upon me and leaves the body, such a person reaches me. So naturally a question comes, at the time of death, Bhagavan, how can we meditate upon you? So that topic is being discussed now. Sarvadvarani sanyamya. So we are discussing verse number 12 and 13. So at the time of death, this is what that person is supposed to do. Samyamya, controlling, withdrawing. Sarvadvarani, all the gates, all the sense organs. Mano hridi nirudhyacha, fixing the mind upon the heart. Murdhni atmanaha pranam adhaya, at the center of the eyebrow, fixing one prana. Asthito yoga dharanam. In this way, one has to get established in yoga. So this is what the literal translation is. So this verse we have been seeing for so many classes. So the first one, all the sense organs we have to withdraw. Sense organs have to be withdrawn because the whole of this journey is an inward journey. It is not an outward journey. When we go outward, sense organs are needed, but in this inward journey, going towards the self, no sense organs are needed. So the best thing they can do is to remain quiet and cooperate with us in taking up this journey towards oneself. Mano hridi nirudhyacha, mind fixed upon the heart. So this we had discussed as a heart filled with all noble virtues, all noble emotions. Heart is the seat of all noble emotions. So heart must be filled with the emotions of gratitude, love, devotion, etc. And such a joyful heart alone, meditation can happen. Murdhni adhaya atmanah pranam. It simply means clarity in head. At the time of meditation, we must know what to meditate upon. That clarity should be there in the intellect. So when there is clarity in the intellect, you will find that when intellect is active in our personality, our attention goes to the center of the eyebrow. When the emotions are active in our personality, our attention goes towards the heart. When reason rule our personality, our attention goes to the center of the eyebrow. This is the experience of all meditators in general. So therefore, ensuring that the head and the heart, both of them are fully cooperative at the seat of meditation. So this is called being established in yoga. So in this regard, Nama japa can be of great help. So here Bhagavan says, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan. Vyaharan, uttering, chanting. What are we supposed to chant? Om. What is this Om? Eka aksharam. This is that one letter. What does this Om represent? Brahma, it represents God. So Om is that one letter mentioned in the Vedas. So if this question is asked, What is the essence of the Vedas? So, if this question is asked, we should say the essence of the Vedas in one letter is Om. So, that is why this term Om has come here. So, here we were discussing about the importance of Nama Japa. So, here we will spend some time. In spiritual sadhana, what is the importance of Nama Japa? So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, in his text Upadeshasaram, says, Kaya Vangmana Karyamuttamam Pujanam Japaschintanam Kramat. So Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Kramat, these things are Uttamam. These things are superior. So what is the first one? Pujanam. Pujanam. Pujanam means ritualistic worship. So this ritualistic worship, what are our personalities involved? So the body is doing the puja. Mantras are chanted by the speech. And the mind thinks of the Lord. So Kaya, Vak, Mana. All the three are involved. Kaya, physical body is involved. Vak, speech is involved. Mana, mind is involved. So that is Pujanam. The second stage is called Pujanam Japa. In Japa, what are the personalities involved? Physical body is not there. Only Vak and Manas. Only these two are involved. The speech and the mind. Only these two are involved. So, compared to Puja, Japa is superior. Because one of the gross layers of our personality has been taken away. The more and more you are into your grosser level of personality, the lesser and lesser you are able to enter into your subtle personality. This is the law. If you are stuck up in the gross, you can't enter into the subtle in depth. So therefore, as you are going deeper and deeper within yourself, you will have to drop the outer, grosser personality. This is the law. So, compared to puja, where physical body is involved, japa is better. And compared to japa, pujanam, japa, chintanam kramat. Compared to japa, chintana is better, meditation is better. So, at the body level, in puja, body, speech and mind, all the three are involved. In japa, speech and mind, they are involved. And in chintana, only mind is involved. So therefore, compared to puja, japa is superior. Compared to japa, chintana is superior. This is what Ramana Maharshi says. So as you are getting into the subtler meditation, you will have to drop all the sadhana done by the grosser personalities. Now, in japa also, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Uttamastavat ucchamandatah Chittajam japa dhyanamuttamam. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Uttamastavat. Bhagavan says, even in japa also there are categories. There are different layers. There are grosser layer and there are subtler layer. So what is the grossest layer in japa? So stavanam, chanting of stotram, Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, Shiva Sahasranama, etc. These Sahasranamas are the first layer. So loud chanting of Sahasranama, stavanam it is called. So there are so many names, 1,000 names of Bhagavan, and you are loudly chanting it. Uttama, here Uttama means Bhagavan. Uttama stavat. So compared to this loud chanting of stotram, what is higher? Ucha japa is higher. Loud chanting of one name is higher. So compared to chanting 1,000 names, chanting one name is higher. It is superior. Now please understand, that doesn't mean that we are looking down upon chanting of Sahasranama, etc. No, that is not the point. Sahasranama has got its own advantage. What is the benefit of chanting Sahasranama? So Sahasranama, as Puja Gurudev used to say, they are the 1,000 pointers to the infinite, to the divine. Each name brings into our mind a particular aspect of God. It becomes a pointer for meditation. So therefore, chanting Sahasranama is very good, especially when we understand the meaning and then chant. It's very good. But when you have to go into deeper personalities, it is always better to choose one mantra for japa. We always have to have one mantra for japa. That is very useful. If you see all the great saints, they all had one Ishtadevata and one mantra for their chanting. And you have to go on chanting that particular mantra. So in the last class also we had discussed this topic. Which mantra is the most powerful mantra? So the answer to this question is no, all mantras are equally powerful, but a particular mantra becomes powerful for me only if I invest my time and energy in that mantra. That is why the definition of mantra itself is mananat trayate iti mantra. What is a mantra? That which protects you, trayate, when mananat, when you constantly work on it, when you constantly chant it, when you constantly meditate upon it. So there is an investment of time, there is an investment of energy. Then what happens? That particular mantra becomes powerful for me. Suppose I am chanting Om Namah Shivaya mantra. If I am constantly chanting it, that mantra becomes powerful for me, not for others. So whoever chants it, that mantra becomes powerful for that person. That is the meaning. Now here we have to understand, there is no mantra which is superior, there is no mantra which is inferior. All mantras are equally powerful provided you work on it. So constant japa of that mantra will make it powerful for us. Okay. So all mantras are equally powerful. So this constant chanting of a mantra is absolutely essential. One mantra has to be there. So what happens when we constantly chant this mantra? A time comes when even in dream, if we see some bad dream, automatically this particular nama, this particular name comes out. So this way, we have to practice chanting the name of one particular mantra. So generally the mantra associated with our Ishta Devata is taken. Whichever Devata we like, that particular Devata's mantra is taken and we chant. Right. Now, the second point about this mantra is, as we chant this mantra, a particular relationship is developed with God. So many years when we chant this mantra, what happens is slowly, that name gets associated with God. That name of the Lord become associated with my relationship with God. That name of the Lord gets associated with so many of my experiences. There was a time when I was highly disturbed and I chant this name and the mind becomes peaceful. There was a time when I was highly confused and I chanted this name and all the confusions went away. There was a time when I became highly inconsolable and I chant this mantra and I found great solace and peace. So this way, what happens is, lot of my experiences get connected with this name. Whenever I was in problem, this name I chanted, and somehow mysteriously these problems just dissolved. Or somewhere from within I gained a strength to face these problems. So what happens is, slowly, this name of the Lord becomes one-stop solution to all my problems. I slowly start deriving strength, peace, clarity, solace, inspiration, guidance from this one name. And then what happens? The moment I chant this name, immediately mind gets associated with God, my experiences with God. And then what happens to the mind? The mind becomes peaceful, the mind becomes concentrated. This is the power of the name of the Lord when it is constantly chanted. It becomes an alambanam for me. It becomes a source of strength for me. It becomes soul refuge for me. And Nama Japa is something which I can chant anywhere, at any time. It is not like puja. As far as the puja is concerned, there are so many aspects which I have to take care. But japa is something which I can chant anywhere, anytime. So now what happens is, this name gets associated with God. It gets associated with a relationship with God. And the moment I chant this name, the mind becomes peaceful and concentrated. So what happens when I chant this name? This name is a pointer to God. It is a pointer towards the higher self. So see the term used, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan. Chanting the name of this Lord. So here the name of the Lord is Om. The name can be anything. So what happens when this name is chanted? Mam Anusmaran, automatically the mind get associated with God. Mind becomes focused in God. Mind becomes focused in the self, and thus chanting the name of the Lord becomes a wonderful means to take my attention to the Lord. Remember, the name of the Lord is a pointer. It is pointing to God. So what happens when I chant this name? Whatever the worldly thoughts I had, all the worldly thoughts just disappear and only the spiritual thought comes. This is what happens with chanting the name. And then what happens to this spiritual thought? This spiritual thought takes me to the spirit, takes me to the self, takes me to God, and that God is none other than consciousness in me. In order to experience that consciousness, I don't need any words. So once my attention merges in that self, merges in consciousness, when the mind starts experiencing peace and happiness and bliss of the self, when it gets single-pointedly concentrated upon the self, what happens to these spiritual thoughts? All the spiritual thoughts, they have done their purpose of taking my attention to God, and once the purpose is achieved, all the thoughts drop down automatically. So, japa eliminates all worldly thoughts, fills the mind with spiritual thought, and finally, even the spiritual thoughts also go away. And then what remains? There is only mind absorbed in the self. So these things happen by stages. So that is why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Uttamastavat Uchamandatah. So compared to Stavanam, Stotram, in the beginning it is very helpful. They are all different pointers to meditate upon God. So many names are there. But when you have to really go into the very core of your being, instead of Stotram, you have to do Nama Japa. So in the beginning, what kind of japa you will do? Ucha japa you will do. What is Ucha japa? Loud chanting of the name of the Lord. In the beginning, start with loud chanting. Ucha japa. What is Ucha japa? Parashruti gocharaha. Ucha japa means loud chanting. Loud chanting means even others are able to listen to this chanting. Ucha japa. But as the mind gets withdrawn from the world, as the internal disturbances come down, as the mind gets more and more withdrawn into the self, slowly step to the next stage. What is the next stage? Manda japa. What is Manda japa? Manda japa is defined as Swashruti gochara, like whispering japa. Japa which only you are able to hear, others are not able to hear. So Ucha japa, loud japa, becomes Manda japa, whispering japa. And then a stage comes when whispering also is a kind of disturbance, because you have gone really deep into yourself. Drop that whispering also. What is the next stage? Ucha japa, Manda japa, and next one is called Chittajam japa. Chittajam, that which is born in the mind. Chitta means mind. So japa is now happening at the mind level. The loud japa has stopped, whispering has stopped. Now it is only happening at the mind level. To that extent, mind has become concentrated. To that extent, mind has become subtle. To that extent, the mind has become pure. As you enter into deeper and deeper levels of your personality, subtler and subtler levels of your personality, you will find that the japa also changes its nature. Slowly it has become Chittajam japa, and then Bhagavan says Dhyanam Uttamam. And finally, this Chittajam japa also becomes silent, because that mental chanting is also a thought. A time comes when thought is not needed for you, because consciousness, to experience consciousness, to abide in consciousness, no chanting is needed, no thoughts are needed. Japa has generated a spiritual thought related to God, and once the mind has merged in God, no more japa is necessary. What happens to the mind? Mind becomes absolutely silent. Mind becomes absolutely quiet. The mind gets absorbed in the self. A quiet mind is a no mind. So mind disappears, and what remains is only pure consciousness. This is what is said here. Om ityekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran, remembering me, getting absorbed in me. So in this way, a person at the time of death, if he can absorb the mind in me, the self, the pure consciousness, what happens to him? Yaha prayati tyajan deham. Such a person who drops the body and leaves this world, what happens to him? Sayati paramam gatim. Such a person attains the highest state. So this is the role of japa at the seat of meditation. This is the role of japa at the time of leaving this world, leaving this body. More of this japa related topic we will see in the next class. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।